When it was first announced that Alan Wake and Control developer Remedy was working on a multiplayer shooter, I was equal parts confused and excited. This is a studio with a knack for creating distinctive worlds, so revisiting one in a less than expected way seemed like an intriguing experiment worth checking out. Now, after 15 hours of blasting through FBC Firebreak, striking levels, upgrading my loadout, and fighting off a plethora of infected monsters, I feel just as confused and excited as I did at its initial announcement. It's an undeniably imaginative jaunt, but when push comes to shove, it struggles to make its mark in a fiercely competitive genre. But hey, at least it's left me with plenty of war stories to share. Firebreak takes place 6 years after the events of Control and invites you back to the wonderfully strange architecture of the oldest house, under wildly different circumstances. Instead of saving the day as the reluctant director Jesse Faden, you and up to 2 friends control a trio of underprepared first responders attending to oddball emergencies that would make even the most battle-hardened OSHA officer wince. If a sentient sticky note infestation is turning the workers into monsters, or radioactive leeches have infested a quarry and need to be thrown into a furnace on wheels, it's you and your team who receive that call. It's a hard job, but someone's got to do it.
That's enough for today.
On top of completing the task at hand, you'll also face off against hordes of Control's interdimensional antagonist, the Hiss, which seem to have taken up a permanent residence in the oldest house.
Here they come. Put them down, crew.
And, on top of that, once you've finished your objective, your team will also have to trek back to the elevator that you arrived in and survive until it reaches your station.
Fire! I'm on your side!
It seems like a lot to handle on paper, and it would be if played solo, but with the help of your team, these surreal tasks begin to feel like another day at the multiplayer office. That is, if your office includes menacing floating helmets, safe rooms, and molten furnaces.
Thanks for the help.
Each team member gets to wield their own crisis kit, which mimics the class systems found in other cooperative shooters. There are 3 available, with each kit offering a unique skill that can expedite key tasks during a job. In the sweat-inducing job site hotfix, using the splash kit will let you keep your teammates from burning alive, while someone with the fix kit can run around bashing the machinery with a trusty wrench whenever they're not using it to fix broken light boxes. The jump kit operator can then keep Hiss agents at bay by using a rocket jump to fly around the map. This variety means that regardless of which kit you choose, there's always an opportunity to feel like a key player in your team's success. That's also due in part to the fact that gunplay is mirrored across all 3 kits. When you start your campaign, you'll have a choice of 2 weapons, a submachine gun and a double-barrel shotgun. Both provide more than enough firepower to take down basic enemies in close-quarter duels, and offer a decent introduction to Firebreak's approachable but limited combat. As you get into more complex levels, you'll naturally start to unlock increasingly powerful choices like machine guns, pump-action shotguns, or my personal favorite, the humble revolver. The rinse and repeat process of taking out hordes of possessed office workers can feel dull at times. Fortunately, a relentless array of flashy particle effects and vibrant lighting features ensures there's at least something striking to look at as you work through your objectives. There aren't too many constraints on the composition of your cohort either, as you'll always have alternative means to complete a kit-specific task. That wrench might make repairs a simple button press, but they turn into a surprisingly stressful rhythm game without it.
That's what I like to see.
This process starts out cute, but quickly grows tiresome in emergencies, and eventually my team negotiated our roles to include all 3 kits. Nothing will make you miss your splash kit operator more than burning to death while trying to extinguish a fire they could have ousted in seconds.
Nice one.
As of right now, there are 5 total job sites, with each being split into 3 clearance levels. The visual identity of each mission is wildly different and wholly unique, from chubby pink foam-filled turbine halls to dimly lit office spaces consumed by frost anomalies. Unfortunately, as much as the chaos is exciting at first, it's not long before you run out of new zones to take in and enemy variants to fight, which includes little beyond tanks, grunts, and aerial attackers. In this way, Firebreak can feel a little bare. That said, the inclusion of tweakable corruption and difficulty levels ensures that what's here has reasonable replayability nonetheless. Take the level hotfix, for example. Your main job in it is to sort out malfunctioning heat fans by zapping and whacking them with the jump kits and fix kits while someone uses the splash kit to keep you both from igniting. Easy, right? Well, once you push the corruption slider to the max, you'll need to complete the task with a random level modifier popping in, like a globe that lowers the zone's gravity or an evil flying stapler that wildly increases enemy health. Now your team isn't just avoiding being burnt to a crisp, you'll also need to make perfect shots and watch your footing too. The addition of these corrupted items frequently provided a fresh challenge and delivered some unbelievably frustrating and hilarious multiplayer moments.
I owe you one.
If you find yourself in trouble when under attack, each zone is equipped with healing decontamination showers and ammunition bays where you can restock and take a beat.
I needed these.
Though, true to Firebreak's chaotic sensibilities, these essential zones can falter and break, which then requires either a kit or that button-pressing minigame to get them back online. The bays also move around as you revisit levels, meaning you won't be able to rely on your memory to find safety. While I can appreciate that this kind of mayhem might not appeal to everyone, I found the unpredictability to be quite moreish, especially when the confusion led to flash arguments in our Discord chat. Thankfully, if, or more likely when, it all goes up in flames, depending on what difficulty setting you choose, you'll have a series of lives to use before it's actually game over. Perhaps what's most disappointing is that Firebreak doesn't feature the same Easter egg-ridden world building that's always intrigued me about Remedy's other games. As such, you won't find Alan Wake carrying in a cell or a stray note about Mr. Door. That's not to say there isn't anything curious to gawk at, and there are hints of the tonal brilliance of the Remedy-connected universe in the sarcastic posters and redacted notes littered around these maps, as well as in the sporadic lore dumps delivered via voiceover when you're waiting in the lobby. But when I went looking for more serious depth beyond the tasks at hand, I came back disappointed. It might be the nature of the genre, but it was still a bummer when I realized investigating the nooks and crannies would never reward me with any lore or secrets, and when it said just leave me open to getting swarmed by bad guys. Beyond moment-to-moment healing and ammo drops, you can turn the tables more permanently by investing in the approachable perk and gear upgrade trees. As you attack the primary goal for each job site and explore shelters, you'll find lost assets and research samples, which act as upgrade currencies. And thanks to a post-launch patch, lost assets are now more visible and have a lot more purchasing power than when I first began this review. I started to feel more adept in Firebreak once I got into a rhythm of splitting my cash between practical upgrades in the requisition tree and passive perk upgrades in the research tree. As a shoot first, ask questions later kind of player, this process allowed me to specialize with upgraded weaponry and meaningful perks to match, such as the ammo hoovering shot vacuum that allowed me to stock up fast as I darted between zones. What's more, a perk will become resonant when upgraded to its maximum level, which means it applies to the other players in your party when they're in proximity to you, allowing your once fragile group to share the benefits of an experienced party member and overwhelm the Hiss forces. Still, despite these smart ideas, there just aren't enough upgrades to work towards in the long term, and so investing feels dubious at best. The heart of what's here is promising, it just lacks the scope to make a big enough impact, which is a huge shame. Firebreak also relies so heavily on team dynamics and coordination that it can alienate people who are matchmaking with strangers or riding solo. During my playtime, I consistently queued up with friends who I've already established a rapport with, which meant not only could we yap about what upgrades to choose and build our arsenal together, we could also laugh and poke fun when things inevitably went wrong.
Cheers.
Without that kind of social backing, however, the stressful, sometimes unclear objectives become frustrating kickoff points rather than communal goals. FBC Firebreak's approachable combat, esoteric missions, and screen-engulfing graphical effects help to make this multiplayer shooter feel reflective of Remedy's cryptic catalogue, though it doesn't feel quite at home there just yet. Success often leans a little too heavily on your party's coordination, which is fun with a full team of friends, but can feel like a detriment if you're queuing up with random players online or playing alone. Even so, with my party in tow and a world of terrible chaos ahead, I still find myself eager to get back to my job at the world's most perilous workplace. But with its currently thin lineup of levels and upgrades, this may be more of a temp job than a full-time career. For more, check out our reviews of Death Stranding 2 or Dune Awakening. And for everything else, stick with IGN.